So the biggest way you do things now is carry a gun. Although going to school, for instance, Nnamdi Kanu has done a little more schooling than Buhari Ndaji. And don't have another 25 years. And you have to see the urgency. But this thing. And compassion, justice. But the fundamental rule is what? Love. Love thy neighbor as thyself. It's all over the Bible. The one I crammed in my head is Matthew 19:19. But it's really about love, isn't it? You cannot build a citizenry or a civics in a country. But there are nice four-letter words like care. Nigeria is the crisis of a country that does not care. And when you see places where people care, you will know. All of us complain there is no money. But money is not our problem. Caring is. Because when you see a child whose parents are poor but who is loved, you will know. Whatever courts, we will pay to facilitate and destroy all of them. So, and it's the same thing. Political parties, all the political parties we had in 1999 are no more. Forget PDP, doesn't exist. AD, gone. ANPP, gone. APC is going to be gone in about 1 month. By the convention, when you look at the list of the APC convention list, you will see the undercurrents that APC is going to be broken up in the next month. You can quote me, and I'm willing to put my house on this. God. Our diversities, our human development crises, our violence crisis. Yes? But I want to leave you with the provisions of Section 17(2) of the Constitution. Whatever you do, remember that provision. I want to go back and leave it with you, because I don't think any of you has read that. Not in that manner. We have all given up hope. So when somebody asks you, why should you vote? Read Section 17(2). The state social order is founded on the ideal.
To show us, those will be the 3 words that I would choose. Our plan is to have a Q&A period in between each of the presentations. I have enough time to take only 2 questions, and I'll only wait 30 seconds before I ask the ambassador, because we don't want to keep our excellency waiting on duty, do we? No. So if you have any pressing questions now, we'll also have question time afterwards. We have like 30 seconds to take questions. Yes, sir. Please come. If only because of your bravery for wearing that t-shirt and the logo on it.
This is my question, sir. With my understanding of the Nigerian electoral process, does the votes cast or being casted by the voters, does it really count, or does it determine the result of elections in Nigeria, or those that count the votes?
Should everything that should be counted count? One more question. I'm biased in favor of my brother over there. We'll take yours later, Nick.
Sir, if you look at the of Nigeria, even from 1960, I think the country really was designed to fail. The fact that we are still existing now, it's not, I believe, it's God that has kept us, till this time. So the issue really going forward and to solve all these structural problems, really is restructuring.
to a response from the prof.
Thanks a lot. A lot of people are researching these questions in PhD programs. So I hope you'll forgive me if my answers are somewhat inadequate. But let me take the first question, sir. Do votes count? And I want to ramify your question a bit in trying to get to your to give you a response which may or may not be an answer. Democracy ultimately is about counting. That's really reduced to its barest form. That is what democracy is about. There are three things that count or which are counted in an election, in a democracy. Number one, you count your people. That is, you call that what? Census. Number two, you count your money. That is what? Public accounts. Among other things, Her Excellency here is a former member of the National Assembly. And so that is why appropriations and public accounts committees are two of the most serious committees in the parliamentary process. Number three, you count votes. What's the relationship between these three? You count votes in order to acquire the legitimacy to count money which you administer to your people, whose mandate you derive through your votes. It's a very organic relationship based on... I don't know whether that, but I hope that gives you a framework for a response. So the next time somebody is trying to inflate any form of counting, not just votes, we've got to call them to order. But having said that, I think it's also fair to say that the digital environment, biometrics, are improving our capability to count because it's involving lots of other people in more verifiable counting. So you can now see that about 30% of our police are ghost officers. You can see that with IPIS, there is greater honesty in the counting of our public service. We are saving. My hobby is crossing international boundaries in Africa. And across most of our borders, you don't know the difference. Crossing between Ilela and Niger, you don't see it. Or crossing from Taraba to Cameroon, you don't see it. And if not for the water, you can go, she's from Cross River State. You go from Ikang to Akwa. Now, Akwa used to be Bakassi, by the way. All of that was in Nigeria. The international border doesn't exist anymore. And people cross just like that. What am I saying? We've got to free up our minds a little bit. If you go to Nigeria's history, we have been restructuring since 1900. From the protectorates to Lord Lugard sacking Sultanate Tahiru in Sokoto in 1903, to the amalgamation in 1914, to the Clifford's Constitution in 1921, organize our country under legitimate authority. As long as we understand that, we are back to what? Electoral politics and civics. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope that some at least of the thinking behind the questions has been addressed. We will have to move along, and I ask your patience to wait until after the ambassador's presentation to put forward further questions. I'm inviting her now if she is ready. If she isn't, we will all wait for her. Please welcome her with me.
Very grateful and thankful to the leadership of the church, to the Reverend Dr. Ilupeju and the Men of Issachar and the entire leadership of the church, and to my wonderful cousin for dragging me into this, Helen Duke. How could I ever do that? Helen Essien before Vincent kills me here. Thank you. There we go.